Hi there, welcome to some more breaking news within the Noah Presgrove case. News has come about that Kaden Pressy is in the process and is willing to reveal his phone data in regard to the party he attended, which Noah Presgrove did, to shine light and possibly reinforce his original timeline of 5:15. Today, I'm just going to present to you what Kaden had to say in his own words, and then we can just add on with some additional comments from other people, what they think of, and maybe some from my video that I did. This could be a smaller video, but it's still very important. Welcome to those watching the live premiere. Share your live reactions in the chat box on the right and drop your comments below if you've got any questions. If you want to support this channel, down below in the comment section, pinned message is a PayPal link. Big shout out to those that have supported the channel in recent time, including Joyce Bergow, from winning that cornhole competition, MVP, top prize, and passing some on down to me. Very good. But yeah, if you want to catch up on recent coverage of my videos and this case at hand, you'll find a full playlist, top right corner, where the eye symbol is, and some loose videos too. We're going to start with Facebook, look at what Kaden said, analyse, and then check the comments. Here we are on the Noah's Ark for Justice page. Credit to Tim Daniel for sharing on the screenshot. Just as a heads up that this particular screenshot is the live chat of my live premiere from last night's video. You'll be able to see it for yourself on my channel, amongst other screenshots too. We're just taking a look at this one in particular because it's one of the more important ones. Though, if there are any other important responses by Kaden from last night, I can do a standalone video on it soon. Tim says, Kaden commits to posting his Apple data in a few days when he gets the email. So no, it does not look like forensics was ever done on his phone. So that would mean that Alicia Lee, the mother to Kaden, lied. And that's problematic, isn't it? That was a big lie, yes. But Kaden says he will stand by his word and post his Apple data. I am afraid Apple is not going to give a location for 521, but perhaps we will wait and see. At this point in time, it's much better than nothing. In terms of some of the comments here, we've got Robbie. Sounds like Alicia thought it was more important to send it to Shannon Scott, I think, first. I know there was two Shannons. One of Shannon is a friend close to Alicia, and we may have seen that within a TikTok live stream screenshot in the past with One Crime at a Time interviewing him. And then there's Kaden Pressy. In his own words, I am currently waiting to get the email with the data from Apple. So once I get it, I will post it. And that, in terms of where he will post it, you'd think probably on Facebook and probably publicly. He doesn't say who he's going to post it to, just post it in general. So it sounds like public. There's some additional comments below. Some person called Emo. Kaden, since you want money from Noah's death so bad, just write a book about that weekend and add in new details. So many people would buy it. #1 seller, you'd be rich. So there were some questionable comments from last night, whoever these people are. We can look at them further at a later point. True for Justice says, so you didn't save it from Apple, you're right, your mom would have saved it and Apple isn't forensics enough. Kaden, give it to Noah's family, not these vultures. In terms of vultures, who are the vultures? Does that apply to me? Because the way I see it, as long as it's shared with the right people, such as Noah's family, that's what matters first. And then if Noah's family wants to repost, reshare it to the public, then there's a nice order to it. But let's just see reactions from some people. We'll just keep it on most relevant for now. I might just skim over some of the comments just because I'm kind of tight for time today. But Chelan, remember this person, feels sad for Kaden. I believe wholeheartedly intentions are pure. If there are any discrepancies, there's got to be a bit of an understanding with what he's seen and gone through, his recollection and version of events. the PTSD which can come from it, the curveballs, how it can impact memories. I went through something that left me with a heap of trauma and CTPSD in 2021 of February. Sorry to hear that. Well, it was an ongoing event. It was the day it all ended, February 9th, 2021, including my life almost being taken. I can remember the incident of that night, word for word. And we'll just acknowledge it to some extent. I can explain every little detail. No idea about times, but I can estimate now the nights leading up to the final fight where I'd witnesses of bad things happening to me, yet my brain has completely blocked those times from my brain. No recollection of them until someone mentions them to me. Then I remember our brains are amazing and do amazing things to protect us from situations. And that is true. But there are other times, and just to a very small extent, there's times where my brain can do self-defense mechanisms to protect myself as a means of coldness. But realistically, it doesn't do me much good. It actually does more worse. So there's always exceptions. But in terms of the memory part, that is just something that I cannot switch off. I do remember things. But what about dates and times? To some extent, I will. But I might not always remember the numbers, but definitely the details and descriptions and the visuals. Kind of like if you used to give directions, and not for anything else, but just directions. Can I give the names of locations and words and roads? No, I don't remember that, but I do remember the visual aspect. Go left, go right, there's a tree, there's a building, and very descriptive there. Anyway, Chell says, my psychologist told me this and explained how and why it works. It's quite mind-blowing what our brains can do to protect us from things we're not yet ready to deal with. I understand everyone wants this solved, but we're dealing with children, young adults, navigating through something in life that is out of the norm. These kids will be so broken and damaged. PTSD is hell. And the thing is, Chell Ann, we've got the people from the army page, some of which are saying Noah is the only victim, meaning what they mean is Kaden isn't and no one else is, even though they can be victims to PTSD. So it says a lot, doesn't it? What else do we have? We've got Siobhan. Should be no need to contact Apple again. His mother claims his phone was forensically analysed, which is way more in-depth and will provide location data. This Apple report will not show anything. But what I would say is, does Kaden Pressy have the control to be able to share that phone analysis, or is his mother holding it back? So the only thing that Kaden can do himself is show the Apple report. And if that's the case, then I would say it is better than nothing. And then it can always be compared and contrasted in the future with an Apple report and a forensic report, if ever possible. That can spread awareness in itself. We've got Michelle here. The process of extracting, analysing data from iPhones to retrieve potentially incriminating digital evidence to support an investigation involves specialised software methods, ranging from call history, social media post, messages to location history, geotags, and even the apps. You think of Apple, the Apple apps, the weather app, it can go a long way, that in itself. Before a forensic deep dive in the Dylan Rounds case, Dylan Rounds' parents were able to clone Dylan Rounds' iPhone and was able to get the phone pings and the understanding of where certain things took place. So you can still get stuff from it in different ways. It might not be the whole lot of info, but it's better than nothing. The digital deep forensic dive in the Dylan Rounds case was able to retrieve a video which the family couldn't find themselves, but the police did. So that's the depth of where you can go. But for phone pings and stuff like that, I believe to some extent it's still possible. Or like with the timing of certain apps. And if your phone is set to certain apps with location on, that can help as well, I believe. Michelle, I don't know because he's asking for something from Apple, not a forensic report. Okay. Actual forensics. She told, as in Alicia, told Partners in True Crime. She knows it's not true, otherwise she would have actual forensics done long ago in Partners in True Crime. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, it makes me think, and anyone else, let me know your thoughts. Do you think one of the reasons why Partners in True Crime Part 2 interview was never publicly released because of what Alicia said in that interview isn't exactly true, so it can't be released public because it would make them look bad? Do you think? We've got Brenda. I don't think his mom will let him post it. I believe it's more important for Noah's family to have it than those of us on social media. And yeah, that's true. But with that being in mind, is it possible that Alicia may not allow Kaden to even share it with Noah's family? Could there be a level of control? I wonder. Especially if the link will expire. Oh no. Well, when pressed on it, he said he will keep his word. As in Kaden. I was under the impression it was actual forensic Apple. Isn't going to say much. More wiggle room for her. It might be wiggle room for Alicia, but at least Kaden is actually trying. Not that he has to, but he's trying. Right? Because, you know, I'll give you my raw assessment on it shortly. Brenda, I'm not banking on seeing anything other than an Apple report that can be accessed from his device. The first mistake was to trust Justin. What was that to do with? Oh, let's just see. I was under the impression forensic 5-1, he made a mistake and the adults, more Justin, ran with it, continued to embellish it. I actually feel sorry for the kid, but more sorry for the ones who are being called murderer. Police aren't corrupt. I guarantee the geofence, provided they weren't involved. Hence the reason it's taking so long. These injuries are from a vehicle to some capacity. I guess we'll see. I'd rather him share it with Noah's family. There's some comments there. Apple will send the data file. You must download it to view. Once downloaded, it should remain open file and download something. The link does expire. Oh, no. Right. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Apple is not forensics. Also, it's coming from Apple. Would be the actual analysis or Apple report. Some comments there. Dead. Okay. Yeah, sounds like nothing. Burger that could easily be accessed long ago. Wait, is Mike calling Joyce Burger a burger? That's making me hungry. Not hungry for Joyce, but hungry for a burger. Sorry. Michelle, police extract data from phones, specialised. Yeah, so if you want to pause the video to get a better understanding of what Michelle's getting at there, you can do so. I'll just scroll down just a little bit. But yeah, it's long. But yeah, okay, fair enough. We've got Tim. I do not think this is what's being done here. They just asked Apple for his data report. Yes, and that's what they did before. It's just Apple. Right, is that it for the comments? That appears to be the case. Let's just quickly acknowledge mine from my video last night. Here we are, already on the newest. First of all, Darkside says, I refuse to even go into the live chat from last night. Kaden and his mother are infuriating, saying for all this time they had proof but won't show family or police. Yet she shared with her buddy. I think it proves the obvious. It didn't happen. There's no proof because it isn't correct. As in, who did Alicia share with her buddy? What? Shannon? Is this what it's about? Michelle, great video again. Thank you, Ref. You're welcome, Michelle. Shout out to Michelle. We got Glenn. Big shout out to Glenn, Mr. Consistent. Melanie says, I have a lot of catching up to do. Maybe behind the ball here. Sure, Kaden will keep his word, provide records if possible. Just think this looks like another group pile on by everybody onto Kaden, and everybody is saying how awful Kaden and Alicia are for denying the family their closure right to info. And yet here, Brooke has every single detail about everyone that was there, thanks to Ellie giving that info to Jack. So it's already out there, and if it was being given out by Ellie, they had no business sharing that info with the party goers before family. So I'd imagine the family also is given this information, and if not, then why can't they be given it right now, as in Noah's family? I agree. Like, first thing Monday morning, put all this drama to bed, because that's all this is. It's a huge pile on to this young man and his mom, and I just think it's very odd. But what I personally think is odd, Melanie, is how in Partners in True Crime Part 2 interview, the private one never released, Alicia said factually, in her words, that police got Kaden's phone, did the analysis, the geofence or the geonet proves Kaden's timeline is correct. And ever since, and recently, Kaden, from what he said, the police never took his phone in. Kaden himself said that. And yet Alicia says the phone was taken in the past, and analysed, and yet Kaden is saying that never happened. So there's some kind of disconnect between Kaden and his mom, or at least an outwards disconnect towards the general public. That in itself causes confusion and scratching of heads. Conflict, contradictions like that is what fuels the general public and can create more problems. That is why it needs to be tried, kept under control. And unfortunately, it's not really. Okay. Going over Kaden's records, supposedly would have plus a lot more because it's not just Kaden's whereabouts. She said it's everyone's phones, so I think it's not honest for people to go after Kaden, like there's huge guilt trips on him. And thank you, Raf, for all you're doing to keep the case alive. I have a lot of catching up on as I've been very ill, but I will, and maybe I'm totally wrong here because I haven't finished reading, trying to catch up. Just looks to me like more of the same. Just different people now being attacked, but it seems like it's a huge liability to stand up and be honest. Look at what is happening to Kaden for taking the risk to do that because others are remaining quiet and having people speak on their behalf. They're staying out of the line of fire, but this young man puts himself out there thinking it was the right and honest thing to do, and in return this is what is happening to him. I'd imagine anybody that considered coming forward would be watching how he's been treated and maybe would be dissuaded from doing so, put off. I get that. Thank you, Raf, for all you're doing to help Noah's case not disappear. So big shout out to Melanie, first of all, for typing all this up because it would have taken a bit of time. And anyone else in the chat right now, send Melanie Fagan healing cats. Either you just use the cat emoji, or if you're a member on my channel, use the cat emoji and just post it in the live chat right now. So then Melanie can see it. And maybe a few purrs as well. I'll try that right now. Oh no, Rebecca, that's not the time for you to get excited. These are healing vibrations, cat purrs for Melanie only. Moving on, we got John. Another day, another horrible look for Kaden. Dude is not credible. Kaden either lying on purpose, guessing, or trying to frame someone. Can't believe that he is trying to get people to buy him a new phone. Alicia Lee, Justin Roy, Jan Fiorillo, etc. have done a great job burying questions that people have regarding Kaden. Michelle, I don't think he's trying to get people to buy him a new phone as much as leave him alone about it. I think Kaden family know exactly what they're doing. Kaden has not been the only one to offer the pay for the phone scheme, as his mother has been doing it as well. Really? Personally have about as much sympathy for Kaden that he and his family, Justin, etc. had for Jack Newton. Kaden had no issues at all destroying Jack's like and making him public enemy number one to the world. Too bad if he wants people to leave him alone. Kaden doesn't deserve people to cut one bit of slack. He literally put himself front and centre in Noah's death. Every time that I see someone mention Kaden wants to be left alone or needs to be given a break, I instantly think of Jack Newton. Jack doesn't get to call time out or step away. He's still being blamed by tons of people every day, all thanks to Kaden. Days of YouTube. This was so confusing to listen to. Why was it confusing to listen to? What didn't make sense? But what I did take away is the boy Kaden didn't ask for money for it. The boy didn't ask for money for it. Somebody offered money for it. So you can't say that's the only way he'll give up the phone. I mean, there was some additional stuff in the comment section as well, I believe. The thing is, at least from the order of how I did my video, it could be interpreted that someone like Beth Carr made the first move and then Kaden followed it up with his response. But if you actually look at it closer, I think Beth Carr's comment was a part of a comment thread under a post. And if that's the same one attached to Kaden's post, well then Kaden was the first one to initiate it about the money situation of, you want my phone? Pay a new one for me and I'll give you the original. And then maybe Beth Carr added in with, well, maybe there's another way around it. It depends. See, Beth Carr's was a comment, not a post. Unless Beth Carr's comment was on a different post, I don't know what post that would be. But I wouldn't say it was that confusing. It's the fact that Kaden has his original phone, the evidence, it's important. Kaden says police never took it, so it wasn't that important, but Alicia says it was taken in the past and data analysis was done. So one's telling the truth, the other one's lying. A little bit weird, is it not? And then we saw the reactions of others. Excellent, Raf. Honestly, speechless. Good to hear. Shout out to Sunny. Good video. Big shout out to Popski. It's a good name, that. One day at a time. Timestamp within my video. I don't think Alicia is saying Jan didn't offer to pay for forensics, etc. when saying no, you didn't. I think she's upset because Jan said if your testimony is true to Kaden. I don't believe Kaden is the only one to volunteer his phone to LE. Robin has stated phones were given to LE the day after Noah was found. Recently in the chat, I asked if anyone knew which young adults turned in their phones to LE the next day. A viewer responded with the initials of 5 young adults. I don't understand how someone can care about Noah, yet at the same time deny Noah's family proof and information. Okay. Well, I'll take a look back at the comments at some point, see what those initials were. And Sourwood, thank you all at Raf for your continued coverage. Appreciate your calm analysis through the turmoil. See, when it comes to the important times and the breaking news, besides the fruit bowl, the apples, pears, mangoes, and anything else in between, focus can be put in place when needed most. All in all, in terms of the richness from that Apple report data, if it comes back and handed out correctly, if there is some kind of a link and it can expire or not, that's the only catch if it goes wrong again. But hopefully it works out. If it was to be posted by Kaden, I'm just wondering if there's a link, do you download it, do you screenshot it and then repost it on Facebook, or does Kaden provide a link on Facebook for anyone to access? What I will say is, just in advance, anyone and everyone watching right now, just be on the lookout for it. If at any point on the Army page, maybe more so, or on his own profile, or on a case discussion, wherever he's a part of, just be on the lookout for it. If Kaden Pressy does a public post with a link attached to the report, whatever it is, anyone that comes across it first, be sure to screenshot it as soon as possible, just in case that link expires. All I would say is, even if it's not rich in true data, as long as you don't get your hopes up too high, you're not going to be let down nor disappointed. So just take it as, well, it's a step forwards. Some action has been taken. Kaden maybe taking more action than his mum Alicia, which is a bit of a positive. See if there's any limitations or restrictions along the way. Treat it as a measuring tool that if anything does go wrong or doesn't work out, and yet Kaden is trying his best, is there a level of control by anyone about, around, or above? That could reveal stuff as well. Use it as a measuring tool, psychologically speaking, so you're not truly let down, and it might open up another pathway. You think there's a chance, and then there's no chance, but the reaction of that chance being taken away reveals some other questions and stuff into play. Be on the lookout for it all. These are just little predictions so you don't miss out yourself. Because like when it came to that shower video in the past where it was supposedly teased and posted online on Facebook, some people saw it, but no one screenshotted it because no one was anticipating it for it to be deleted or removed. So just be on the lookout. As well, what I would say is, in my opinion, I'm not going to say the line, what Kaden Pressy is doing, he's doing the right thing, because that will come across as patronising. In some way, Kaden Pressy shouldn't have to do this or that. He shouldn't have to do any of this, but equally, other partygoers shouldn't either. And from the looks of it, other partygoers haven't online publicly. So it brings the question back to, so then why does Kaden Pressy have to? If no one else has to, why does Kaden? The only argument what I would put across is because he's put himself out there online in the first place. And saying certain stuff, mentioning some things and teasing at other bits and maybe some discrepancies along the way. You put yourself out there more for longer and say more, there's more chances of feedback, positive and negative. Of course, Kaden Pressy might not be able to say too much at times, but it's just like you put yourself out there, then it creates a hunger and an appetite from the general public who then may want more, scratch and claw, and just want more and more and more with time. Not that the general public are always privy or entitled to that, but you kind of give and take to some extent. ultimately what hasn't helped is what Alicia has said compared to what Kaden has said. Not on the same wavelength when you compare Partners in True Crime Part 2 interview with Kaden's recent post and what he may have said in the past as well. And through those discrepancies and inconsistencies and contradictions, it drives a great heat level in wanting answers and responses. Granted, on the public surface level, the general public seem more hungry for this in regard to Kaden than Noah's family does, who are probably more patient. And maybe those who are more patient, more good things should come to those who wait, so they should receive it, but they haven't done so yet. But whether it be public or private, if it can be released and it doesn't harm the case, that should be good enough. Time will tell, and then we'll see what happens from there. Does it reinforce it all? Does it debunk it all? Does it leave people wondering, oh, that's all, not enough? Still, something is better than nothing, and then you get an idea from there. So hopefully you found this little breaking news clip interesting. You want to share, spread awareness, feel free to hit the thumbs up and like the video. That'd be much appreciated. My name's Warlike Raph. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Good night for now.